Batman issue 17, Tom King writing, of course, and David Fincher on art. This is the second part of the I Am Bane story.
Just to throw a curveball, I think I might be more on Matt's side than Pete's this time.
Do you know what my side is?
I like to hear that.
I'm just assuming.
You're just assuming.
I haven't heard you speak about it. I'm just assuming.
I'm going to lay it out real quick. I'm getting tired of Tom King having great first issues of arcs, and then the next issue just pisses me off and it makes me want to throw my comic across the room. And this time I read it on my iPad because I couldn't wait to find out what happened, and so I got it digitally in addition to physically at my comic shop, and that might be what's leading to the anger. But I couldn't throw my iPad across the room when I was done.
I wouldn't say I was angry. I wouldn't go quite that far. Perhaps disappointed, though.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling quite that. I liked the second half of the issue quite a bit. I thought the build up to Bane in the second half was really cool. I loved the tease of Bane on the roof, like kidnapping all the other Batman allies that are still around, Gordon and whatnot, and Duke. And
it seems too easy. Like, I know he's hopped up on Venom. I know that's what the whole I Am Suicide was. It was Bane retook. But, like...
I think it's because you didn't really see any of them pop any sort of fight against Bane. They just got taken. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Well,
Bane's that again.
And also, to me, it diminishes Nightwing that he got taken out with the rest of the Robins.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Right?
I'm not getting to that yet.
Like,
I'm just talking about the build to Bane in the second half of the issue.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like you're sacrificing every Batman supporting character in order to make Bane the scary horror villain. And I don't feel like you needed to do that.
The scary horror villain is the part that works for me, because I think the build up to him works quite well. The first part of the issue, though, when Superman goes to the fortress and Batman's there with these three Robins who are all in like cryo sleep or whatever. This was first of all, Superman's in his post reborn costume. I don't know if anyone else noticed. He's got his red boots on.
Yep.
Just a nice little way of dating this.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed that because of Pete. Now every time I read a book with Superman in it, I got to look at his boots first. So thank you, Pete.
I'm so sorry that I was paying attention to your supposed favourite character, Matt.
Well, I assume that's also why he has this fortress back. Like, that's why he's in this fortress until reborn.
Yeah.
Which, and it's awesome that he's got the key.
Yeah, the heavy key that only he can lift up. Yeah.
But Batman can get in there anyway with 3 massive cryo chamber pods.
And
I'm okay with that.
Well, how did he get?
Defenses.
How did he get that massive machinery in there along with himself? If the door was locked and he can't lift the key.
Yeah, the machinery could have been there already.
I took it that the machinery was in there, but like we know Helix is watching over the fortress, and he leaves without Superman knowing, and I'm just like, he had super senses. Like, I think
it annoys me more that they make a big deal of showing us, it's still the key that only he can lift. Yeah. And then he's there anyway. It's like, well, what's the point? It's just, that feels cheap. It's like, because Batman. There is no other reason for this.
Yeah,
it's funny when it happens to Gordon, because it always happens to Gordon. Like, Gordon gets caught up in whatever they're talking about, turns around. But with Superman, he's genuinely concerned for Bruce's family, because Bane did this. And Batman can't even be like, hey, thanks for your help. He just takes off. Got more important things to do. And I
love our problem with him getting in the fortress. I actually played this quite a funny beat to me. But
oh no, that's fine, but then don't have him do the Batman walk away, if that's the case. Like, it's funny if he just shows up and Superman had just lifted this gigantic key and he's like, Bruce, what are you doing here? Like, that's fine, I get that. But it's the he's also gonna leave without, I don't know, and it kind of damages their relationship, I think. Like, their sons are pretty good friends, right? Like, you'd think that Superman's concerned about Damian.
That's the thing. This is why the boots throw me off. This plays like it's early in their relationship, as in this new Clark, and it plays like it's early in there, and he doesn't trust him yet. But this is presumably after all of Trinity, after everything we've seen in Superman and Super Sons. and it's like this doesn't make any sense for where their relationship should be unless something drastic happens in Reborn.
But I don't think so, because he's going to the fortress knowing that Superman's going to keep them safe.
Yeah, and Superman doesn't really give much. He's not mad that he's there. He's not like
exactly, and that's why I don't get it. I don't get why Batman's treating him like it's that again. It just feels like it's dated wrong.
Sure. I didn't really think about that super much. I thought the entrance was fun. I liked Batman being there despite the key being needed. I mean, I take that as like Batman's familiar with the place. He's been there before. It's not his first entrance. I mean, especially if this is the old Superman, as in New 52 Superman's fortress. And he's been there before.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's the motivations behind it that I think are driving me and Connor more. Like, we understand it all, but I don't think King handled it.
It doesn't play as a comedy beat because it's this whole serious thing where they haven't got any dialogue and they're all like there's no conversation. So it doesn't play as a comedy beat to me. Right. It plays like it's so serious.
Like, I'd rather have seen Batman lash out, like stressed out. Like, you could tell that Bane's got to him and rattled him because these are his three sons. However you feel about Jason Todd, Dick and Damian are his de facto sons. One is actually legitimate genetically, and he just drops him off. And it's like, here, Uncle Clark, deal with him. And I would have rather him go, hey, where are you going, Bruce? He's like, I don't have time for this, Clark. I need to get back to my city. Look what he's done.
And it kind of also annoys me that he forgets Duke. Like, why is it just these three? Like, what's wrong with the rest of them?
Well, he told Duke to get out of town.
Yeah, as far as he's aware, Duke's gone.
And these three didn't listen. That's why he's upset. That's how I took that.
All right, okay.
I get where you guys are coming from, but you're focused on things that didn't bother me, whereas there was other things that bothered me.
All right, what bothered you?
Well, just the way the issue kind of starts with this resolution to the last issue, like that last page. Yep. Even though I was slightly amused that. Because last week Matt was very specific to say, no, Peter, you've missed something here. This is Psycho Pirate's mask that's causing this. This is an hallucination. So it does deeply amuse me that was complete bollocks.
Excuse me for being more creative than Tom Kane. Like, he set up the whole mask maybe being in the manor and it having
Wait a minute. We did establish last week that you made up a panel where the pirate's mask. You said, you can see the mask in the page before and it's glowing. We established you made that up.
But the way that Alfred gets into the Arkham Asylum and stuff, he has the mask.
Oh, yeah,
right?
he does, yeah.
So they must have had it in the manor already.
So they must have had it in the manor, right?
Oh, yeah, but that wasn't really set up that well in the last issue, though.
Well, I think it's still set up better in the stuff that I made up more than this, where Bane just took out 3 Robins.
I have
chained him, hung him in the cave.
To go back to one of the previous points, though, I do actually agree that it diminishes Dick and to a point the other Robins, but especially Dick, in hindsight, because we expected a swerve of some sort. I didn't think it was a hallucination at first last week or last issue. I thought it was they're faked. It's not really them. It's whatever, something like that.
Right.
I expected a swerve. So when it turned out, no, it's just them, and now he's put them in these pods to keep them safe until he's dealt with Bane. I'm like, all right, so Dick just get taken out. I actually don't have a problem with the rest of the team. Like, see the all the ones that get captured at the end. See, Duke, because he's an amateur.
I get that, but you kind of see that happening. This is he just left him hanging in the Batcave.
Yeah, and then left without a trace. I don't get this. How did he get in and out? And does this mean he knows his identity?
Yeah. All it was is for shock value, and that's what upsets me more. I'd rather have had it be a hallucination, Bruce walk into the cave, and it's not there, right? And now he's worried about the Robins, and did I do the right thing? And he kind of plays up. Him going to prove he's better than Bane is now going to cause some problems for Gotham, right? Here, instead, we get the, oh no, Bane's already come, and he's already done his worst when you think about it, because he assaulted Bruce's family and left him for dead.
But then he could have killed them. Yeah.
And there's nothing that Bruce could have done. So, unless this all ends up being a massive hallucination.
But at which point then is it gone too far and too long that it just feels cheap for that then?
My biggest problem is kind of the resolution. See, in hindsight, it annoys me for the end of the last issue. Everything after that scene, though, with Bane, which is the majority of the issue. The majority of the issue is Bane's henchmen collecting the other people, and then we get that stuff on the roof. I actually like the build up to him as this big dramatic horror villain. It's a shame that the cliffhanger from the last issue kind of, because it didn't bother me last time because I thought, oh, there's a swerve coming. So it didn't, it's shock value, but comics do that all the time. You always get a shock value last page.
There wasn't a swerve.
But then there wasn't a swerve, and it was, no, they just get beat that easily, and they were left hanging in the Batcave. And they look dead. I mean, apparently they're not. Batman just says, alright, this will keep them safe.
They were hanging. They had nooses.
But that bothers me way more than anything you were talking about in the Fortress.
Oh, there's that too. But that bothered us as well. I think we were just waiting to get to that.
Yeah.
But I didn't really like the rest of the issue that much either, to be honest. I don't think Bane
I was fine with
that.
Pete saying using Bane as a horror villain's fine.
No, I get that, but I don't feel it. I get that's what they're going for, but I don't feel it. I never see Bane do anything. I don't see how he takes them out. I don't see them putting up any fight. I don't see any resistance. I don't see anything. I just go, oh, he did it, and that just feels easy to me.
So now they've created a new trope. It's not because Batman, it's because Bane.
Oh, see, this is why this works for me more than it works for you guys. This is a very horror villainous thing, where things all go unseen and it's all left to your imagination. Like, how did he beat everyone? It bothers me with Nightwing because he's such a main character in his experience, but
he was Batman.
But this works for the most part with the others because it's a classic, let the audience's imagination fill in the blanks. Like, he must be X powerful or X scary and menacing because he's achieved this. And I get the point that not showing it cannot work, but at the same time it often does.
I think it might have worked if it hadn't already done that with the Robins and Nightwing. Once you've done that, then it's like, well, this just feels like it should be easier, and we didn't even see that.
Connor, I agree with that. I agree that doing it with the Nightwing and the Robins first is a problem, but to me that doesn't necessarily deflate the rest.
See, that's why it does to me, though, because this plays after that. So it's like, okay, we already know that happened, and then he's just going to do the same thing again.
Imagine if they swapped the endings. That at the end of last issue, you got Bane taking all of his people, so Gordon, Lark, Catwoman, and at the end of this issue, you got the Robins, and I feel like there, you get the best of both, because then you're still expecting the swerve, and you could even do the Fortress stuff in the follow-up issue.
I actually kind of agree with this. In terms of escalation, they should have done these lesser ally. I say lesser. I mean, obviously they're all important, but you know what I mean. In terms of
less individually capable.
They're not Nightwing and the Robins, right? If you did the other ones first, and then you do them off camera, as it were, and then you do the Robins like they did with these ones in this issue, where you get a scene with each showing them getting taken down, but it's escalation because he's going up the food chain. He's getting closer to Batman, Dick being last.
And that's why it annoys me more, because it is after... taken on its own, this doesn't annoy me that much, but after the Robins and Nightwing, it really does, because it's just... It negates everything for me.
Well, it's just building a massive threat for Batman, so when he does overcome it...
See, in a weird way, I actually think this issue is better than the last issue, but the problems of what the last issue set up that starts off this issue makes it really murky and really kind of middling.
Honestly, not to get too spoilery, but this might be my least favourite book of the week.
I read Justice League, so that's not possible.
That is a ringing endorsement. So... I really enjoyed the last issue up until the end, and I really enjoyed the end of this. So, I feel if you smash them together, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. No, actually, through talking about it, I do agree that things happened in the wrong order. It feels really weird that they didn't build up the food chain of the allies and end with Nightwing.
This is my problem with condemning comics is there could be something that happens at the beginning of next issue that makes you look at it differently.
Well,
and
that's how I was with the last issue. I think and Peter as well. We defended it more than you did because we were like, "Oh, it's fine. They're gonna just swerve it, and that'll be fine. It won't be a problem." But then because they played it straight, it's like, hang on, we have to reevaluate that.
Yeah, it was really weird. Like, honestly, at the start of this issue, when because it starts with Superman, he goes to the fortress. I'm like, oh, I'm intrigued. What's going on? Why is Superman going to do something?
I thought Bane was coming for Superman, going, wow, that's ballsy.
And I was like, yeah, the Venom's like 2.0. Superman's not even standing a chance now. But it gets to the fortress, and Batman's like, oh yeah, they were all attacked, and I've put them in these pods. And I'm like, oh right, they actually did get beat up, and they were left for dead. Okay, and it took me a while to get over that. It wasn't until probably right towards the end of the issue when it was like Bane on the roof that I got really excited again. Because the middle of it was like fine, like, you know, the various henchmen taking down the other people, but it wasn't until the end when we got to that really cool moment on the roof where Bane's sort of in silhouette and then he lights up the flare and you can see him. Like, I like that. As a piece of comic book storytelling, I like the last few pages.
Honestly, my favourite stuff in this issue was the Alfred stuff. Yeah, him going on about how he wanted to play Hamlet, Macbeth, Lear, and the stuff I could have.
Oh yeah, as he's sneaking into Arkham Asylum with Gotham Girl to see Psycho Pirate.
Like, here I am, bloody Jeremiah.
I would have. Oh, he says I would have been great as Lear.
Lear, what I could have done with Lear.
Yeah, like again, King's Alfred is on point.
Yeah.
Can't beat a bit of sassy Alfred.
And I feel bad because obviously last week we praised how he gets the whole family, and you know with the whole stuff around the table last issue, and
he does.
And then this week it's like, well, does he get them if he's just going to throw them all away?
I feel like I've enjoyed his smaller moments. I think this is King in general from the stuff I've read of him. Like his Vision book at Marvel is supposed to all be about this android family and coming to terms with that, and it's very interpersonal. And I feel he's great at those interpersonal, you know, around the table discussions. But for these big, huge ideas, I feel like he gets them halfway there and then thinks they're done. So, which was kind of a problem when you're writing Batman. Because, I mean, the Monster Men stuff, he helped write, right? He, like, got a plotting. But that was mostly Orlando.
No, he wasn't writing that. It was Orlando who did all that. I think
he was all Orlando.
Maybe Orlando co-wrote all the issues with the actual writers. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I think Orlando plotted it all, and then they all wrote dialogue.
They filled in. Okay.
I think.
But yeah. So when you have someone else working, that's why I think him and Seeley worked hand in hand, because Seeley's still killing it on Nightwing, and I think he needs someone like Seeley that they can bounce ideas off of each other, and. You know, nothing against King, because I still mostly enjoy his stuff. But his Batman has just been rage-inducing for me.
I think the as an arc, like the first one was my favorite because it was most consistent. But then last issue was my favorite issue overall. Yeah, so it's like I'm really conflicted.
See, it's funny because I thought he was on a constant upward trend because I liked I Am Suicide more than
I Am Gotham.
And then I really liked the Rooftops two-parter.
I like that a lot, yeah.
And then this one feels like a sort of weird kind of step back to the first arc, but with more murkiness kind of thing for me. Maybe that's just part of the Finch arc.
How much are you feeling that because of Finch,
yeah. Maybe that's part of the reason for that. But I don't know, like, I'm all for, like, Bane having a big show of it and him being a terrifying villain. I like that he's building that. It's just the way he's doing it by just kind of disregarding some of the other characters is a bit of a problem. That's it. I'm not hating it though. Like, I still enjoyed reading it well enough. Like, how much am I going to care about some of these issues by the time the arc ends or whatever? I don't know.
I think it's more of an issue, like more of a problem when it's near the start of the arc, because I'm trying to get invested in it, and then it kind of goes, I don't care at the minute now.
I was glad it's every other week because we get through them quicker.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Double shipping means that, even if you don't like an issue, there's only 2 weeks till the next one, and it might win you back over. Because like we said, because I mean, we said this one kind of negatively impacted the end of the last issue. I mean, who's to say that the next issue won't?
It could. Yeah.
And that's my main problem with condemning comics and saying that it was bad outright. Unless it's something like All-Star, which I really didn't enjoy a lot of.
It's
first arc.
It's a problem with with these books where you've got an arc, you've got a 5 or 6 issue arc, and if you're reading them later as trade, it's fine. But when you're reading them individually, like month to month or every 2 weeks, like these ones, it's hard to judge an individual chapter because it is essentially just part of the overall story.
Yeah.
And just with comics, you need to kind of hold off. Like the first issue of Batman, I remember how upset I was because he lands the plane, you know, and stuff. But I ended up enjoying that arc overall with Gotham and Gotham Girl. So, you know, here and it was almost the opposite with I Am Suicide because I really enjoyed that first issue, but as it kept going, it made me more and more upset. So
yeah,
you can never really get a full bead.
Whereas I really liked I Am Suicide. But the thing with that plane thing in the first issue, though, is the whole point of that is that they needed something big like that so that Gotham and Gotham Girl could show up and save the day at the end. That was the whole point.
Right. But in the moment, I'm just like, oh. But as it plays out, in hindsight, it's fine. So again, this could all be fine. This is why when people are just like, if you don't like Batman, just drop it. It was like, well, it could get better and it could be redeemed. Like, DC's major books. So.
Admittedly, I don't think I see them doing something that retroactively makes the beating of the Robins better.
It's too late to do it then, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, unless we get some sort of flashback to how it went down, I don't see how it'll work.
Seems unlikely.
Yeah, it does seem unlikely, which is why I'm...
Unless it's not just Bane, unless it is literally Bane's army, and they're all hopped up on Venom, and that's how they're doing this, And there's just numbers, and that's why in Batman, which we already know he can beat Bane's army because he's already done it like 4 times on Santa Prisca, so...
Yeah. Still doesn't help that much, does it? After I Am Suicide, where we saw him just take them all down, you think, and that was at his home base. And you're telling me Nightwing can't take down a contingency of those?
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was Bane himself. Matt's putting in the army here of prisoners.
No, I am. I'm just trying to throw out stuff that's going to help me, reconcile.
It still just annoys me that it means that Bane was in the Batcave and has done nothing about that. And how long has he known? And how did he get in there? And maybe those Joker will get answered. But yeah,
kind of undermines Joker and the whole thing from Death of the Family.
Maybe they will go with some sort of Shyamalan-esque twist at the end where it has all been pirate
Batman
masked.
is Bane.